I know. Driving folks used to having your person in their head. Well, it's like ponying. You know, ponying seems like a simple process, but getting out the gate with a pony horse. I get into that gate. Who's gonna open that gate? Who's gonna hold the horse to be pony while you're getting on the one that, yeah, it's all of a sudden it's not a simple process. And
Well, I had
I'm really good at it with Bob and Dan, but yeah, I don't pony much because it could be very dangerous.
Oh, absolutely.
Hello. Yes, I'm back here. I'm real lucky where we live because we have 12-foot wide trails that are pretty consistent. You don't have power boxes in the middle of it.
Yeah.
So having two horses that big out side by side wasn't hard. We stayed pretty safe. I watch people ponying poles. They're so unpredictable. What are you doing?
Oh, yeah. I was very lucky with the one filly I had, Joyful. I ponied her, but I had a really nice horse.
Yeah. Well, and that's the trick. You've got to have a steady edge.
I had a friend of mine online ask me, they said, when you're driving, how do you keep the horse from, doing the whirling dervish, turning around in lines?
Yeah. Sometimes you don't.
and my suggestion was I came out and did a little video of where you just have the lead rope on.
Right.
And you're lunging them.
Lunging them with a ground line around the back.
Well, just the one rope, and you lunge them, and then you drift behind them,
Right.
and then pretty soon they're walking ahead of you on the one line.
Well, it's just like the exercise you just did where you were driving them down the
Along
trail.
along the fence.
So they get used to you being behind.
And-
And Polly, they would teach it by lunging them just with a halter and lead. Halter's connected on, or the lead rope was connected on the halter on one side, and then you ran a lunge line from the halter around the back end, and just kept them in a really small circle.
Yeah.
And eventually, you could start putting some pressure on that outside line.
And to ask them to make it
move their
bigger.
butt
And,
over a little and move them on, exactly. So by the time you actually had ground driving lines on, they were used to that rope behind their hocks. It wasn't such a big deal. 'Cause a lot of times that's what it is. I mean, they feel that, they get a little concerned.
and they want to swing off it, yeah. And there's so many things I do that I'm not aware of. But I do it with all my horses. And then somebody asks me a question like that, and I'm like,
You have to actually think about why you do that.
well, I'm thinking, I've always drifted
Why
with
did I start doing
my lunge line. I've always drifted around.
Well, I don't like lunging them in one spot all the time.
Yeah.
In a round pen, then you're stuck. But when you've got space, part of it was, you used to have to share the arena with other trainers, and I don't want a big old trench in the middle where everyone uses the same circle.
Yes.
So, there was that.
And I like to show them every part of the arena.
Yeah, if there's some scary part of it, that's going to be part of our work, and then there's going to be the quiet.
Like when I take them down to Sky Country, I lunge all the way around the big arena.
Yeah.
Walking and trotting.
And then move and do a circle, move.
And there's always the water under the trees on the one side. So that's always a little place we spend some time. Or if there's kids at the park, we'll lunge in the parking area just at a walk over by the slides and the swings. And then I take them down in the ditch. And I lunge them on the sides of the hills up by the sheep. And I always try to think, someday I would like to ride here.
Yes.
So why not?
Show them to it now. Walk on. That was an interesting detour. Not sure what made him decide he needed to turn left.
Bob has been working every Saturday.
Oh gosh.
And Monday, he works right down on Grape Street in LA.
Yeah.
That's where the gang started, Crips and Blood.
Oh, shoot.
And it's been pretty peaceful. And I think, you know, none of them want all these problems, and they've been doing a lot better.
Yeah.
But Monday, he came all the way in and was driving home, and they had an emergency and called him back out. So he had to turn around and go back. And it's in Nickerson Gardens where he is. And get his truck and then drive out to this school where a security grill was down. They had taken it down for some reason. And they wanted it back up, of course, before everybody got in there and decided to take things.
Right.
You know,
Doesn't
desperate.
take long for word to get out.
Well, and then, you know, there's a lot of desperate people out there. So he went back out there and got it fixed, and I kept telling him, I said, call me when you're done.
Yeah.
Call me when you're back at the shop.
Right.
Call me when you're leaving. Just so somebody was checking up on him.
Yeah.
And,
That's a good neighborhood.
yeah. And so he did that, but he didn't get home till like 8:30. Well, he has to eat dinner and take a shower, and he tries to go to bed at 8.
Oh my gosh.
Because he gets up at 4.
Yeah.
You know. So last night he came home and he had an emergency again, gate crash. But he was already out in the field and he just stayed out there and got it done, but got home late. Like 6:30
Yeah.
or 6. And there's a recall out on his car that we're trying to schedule to get it back in.
Right.
But, you know, if he's working every Saturday and when,
Makes it kind of a challenge.
so I told him,
Nothing like having your schedule shifted by a couple of hours, and what a difference that makes.
oh yeah. And then my niece graduates, you know, in May,
From
Kentucky University for her RN, Bachelor of Science. And she graduates the first weekend in May.
oh my, the first Saturday in May.
Yes.
Anything else goes on in Kentucky besides that?
Well, Friday is one ceremony, and then I think
There's no way they could have a graduation on the first Saturday in May in Kentucky.
well, and her school is in Lexington.
Oh my gosh.
So we've already got the hotel reservations, so we have to make the plane reservations. So we're going to go to her graduation, and then of course we're going to go to the Kentucky Derby.
Yeah, I was going to say, you can't be in Kentucky on the first Saturday in May and not go.
And then I want to go to the Kentucky Horse Park and the museum.
Yes. Yes. Oh,
Because, I mean, when would we ever, you know, get that chance again?
exactly. Oh, that's wonderful. Yeah, Tim got invited to go to Rolex this year.
Oh,
So that's in April.
oh, are you going?
I wish I could. I can't drop my mom hat in the middle of all of that. But he's going to be there. He's got Holly Bennett, who rides on the Canadian team. She's got 2 horses going.
Uh-huh.
And he's got, I can't remember the name of his rider that's on the U.S.
I'm sorry. I thought Tim is not your husband.
No.
Sorry, Kathy. Now I just realized. Okay.
No.
Sorry. Of course you're not going with him.
What he's been asked to do, the head shoer for the U.S. equestrian team is putting together a regional team of shoers.
Uh-huh.
So when they are in competition mode, and say you have the whole team going to be in Del Mar for some big, international event, that at least two of the team members, horse shoeing team members, will be there.
Uh-huh.
Everybody gets to know the horses.
Oh, good.
This way, you know the recipe for the shoes. You know how the horse, gets treated, dealt with, and whatnot. So that when they are going to these international meets, it's not like you have to hold the same shoer, or each rider's got their own shoers. Basically.
Right.
So what they want to have is a better communication between the riders, their shoers, and the team shoers.